Hey, what is up guys, this is Penguin Tech here. So if you guys have watched my part 1 video on my PC building, you'll notice that I've actually introduced all parts of my budget building. And so we're going to start to build the PC here, starting with this motherboard. So the first step we will do is to put the CPU into the CPU slot. This is the 2700X Ryzen, the 2nd gen Ryzen here with 8 core 16 threads with a clock speed of 3.7 and a max boost clock speed of 4.3 here. And now we're going to open up this slot here. If you look closely, there's a golden triangle pin here, and you need to match that with that of the motherboard, and you need to match that with that of the motherboard, which is this side here. If you can see, there's a notch down there, and so you just have to place your CPU down gently and lock it back. So with our CPU in place now, we're going to install the cooler here, and I'll be using the rough prism here, which is the stock CPU cooler that comes with it when you buy the 2700X here. And as you can see, we have a sticker on it which you have to remember to remove before you stick onto the CPU. But before that, we'll need to put some thermal paste onto the CPU first. So this is my CPU paste here, the thermal paste. This is the Arctic MX4, which I have kept for like 3 years, and I think it's a very good thermal compound here, and it's quite recommended. So we're just going to put a little bit of thermal paste here, about the size of a rice, like so. So with our thermal paste on it, we're going to put our cooler on it. You must remember to remove this sticker on the bottom so that it sticks, so that it can transfer the heat well. So let's go. Alright, now we're going to put it onto the CPU here. So let's try this orientation. We're just going to clip these two clips here onto the plastic clips here. So let's put this orientation this way. Okay, and now we're just going to slide this down. With the cooler in place, we're going to secure the cooler by turning this 180 degrees. It's going to take some force. This is to make there we go. This is to make sure it's tight on the CPU and makes great contact. As you can see, it's very sturdy now. And now we're going to connect the CPU fan onto the fan header right behind the CPU cooler. And now we're just going to tuck in somewhere so that it looks nicer. And now we're going to install the RGB header, and I'll be using this RGB header from the stock cooler itself. I won't be using the USB controller there. I'll be removing this cover here. This is the one for the RGB header, and I'm going to connect this like so. Just plug it in. This one is for the USB control. And now I'm just going to try to make some cable management around, and then plug it into this RGB header, which is white in color, the only one, and we're good to go now. Next up, we're going to install these two sticks of DDR4 RAMs. These are 8 gigs each at 3200. So this is the HyperX protector RGB with the RGB straight on top. Yeah, these RAMs actually, they look really nice here, as you can see, and their heatsinks are very good. They feel a bit heavier as well. So now we're going to install into the black slots here, which are this and this. We'll be running in dual channel here. When you install the second RAM, it's always a stick behind the first RAM slot. So in this case, we'll be going to these two slots, the black. But if you want to install gray, it's also fine. But you can never install black and gray unless you have populated these two slots here. So meaning that in the future, if you have already populated these two slots and you want to install 2 more RAM sticks, you will have to install these 2 slots. So make sure you match out the notch make sure you match out the notch here onto the motherboard side, so it's with the HyperX logo towards us. And after you slot it in, you just need to gently push it inside until this clips back in. And here we have the second RAM. Next up, we're going to install the M.2 SSD here. Our NVMe drive today is the XPG SX6000 Pro 512GB here. So now I'm going to install this heatsink, DIY heatsink first. So I'm just going to peel off this tab here. Oh, that's a harsh one. And then stick it onto the top of this SSD, matching the notch, and then just put it down gently, and there we go. Looks really nice. And this is a 2280 size here, so the screw slot we're going to use is this one, the third one, because this is for 2242, 2260 and 2211.0. And we already have a screw inside, so we're just going to take it out. And then put our M.2 SSD here inside, and as you can see, the notch is here and you have to match that notch here. This is the M key, so you just push it in, and then it will hang like this. So you will need to have a screw to push it downwards like so, and then you need to secure the screw and screw it down gently. And we're okay. Next up, we're going to install this beeper here. So for this motherboard, the place you put in your speaker is this 4-pin down in the bottom here. So you just have to push this into the here like so, and we're okay with it. So this is what actually beeps when there's an issue, and depending on the length and the knot of the beep, it will tell us the problem we are having with our PC. So now basically we're done with our motherboard, and we're going to move it into our case. So now we're moving on to our case here. This is the TechWay Quad Mini, and we're going to remove all of its available panels here of both sides, the top together with the front panel. So let's begin. Okay, so the case is basically bare bone now, and I'm just going to try to take all the cables out from the case so that it looks cleaner. So as you can see, I have already actually installed all of the motherboard stands off here. Now the first thing is to install this I/O panel here, and the orientation is this way. It's this way, so now I'm going to put it in here. So now we're going to put our motherboard inside this case. I'm just going to try and slide it from here, and we're going to try and match the I/O panel, making sure that nothing goes in the way, especially this fan cable here. Just push it gently in, and then let it go down itself, and make sure that your motherboard aligns to the motherboard standoff here. So as you can see here, our motherboards all align nicely with the motherboard standoff now. So our next job is to screw down the motherboard using these screws. I'll go with zigzag pattern here. Now you don't really have to screw in all of the motherboard stand off, but do make sure that you screw in all 4 sides so that it supports your heavy GPU and all that. Now this prime breaker is actually blocking our ways, but you could choose not to remove it like me, but it will be harder. As you can see, it's quite hard for me to screw in the screws here from this end. And if you removed it, it will be much easier, but you have to spend more time to actually screw it back later on. So right now I'm tightening all the 4 screws here, and I'll be adding more screws to give it more support. So everything is tough now. So our next move is to install the PSU. So we have to remove all of these buttons here, 3 buttons, in order to release the PSU bracket. There we go. So here is our PSU here, and what we are going to do is to attach this bracket here like so. I'm sorry, the fan should be facing downwards since it's where the fan intake is. So let me turn this PSU and then stick it in. And as you can see, our holes are aligned now. And what we're going to do is just to screw these 4 screws in. And now we're going to guide all of these extra wires through this hole. Push this wire out here and slide this PSU in, and then screw the thumb screws down. And so our PSU is in already, and the next thing we're going to do is to install our GPU here. And so the first thing is to take off this bracket here. Here is our GPU, Zotac Mini GTX1050Ti, and we're going to install it in the first bracket. So all you need to do is just to open this out, align it down, slot it in, and push it down until the clip gets it back inside, and screw this PSU hole here. And since this GPU does not need power from the PSU, it only needs the power from the motherboard, since it is only a 75 watt GPU, which is our cable management later on. And now we're going to route our power cables to the motherboard. So first up is this piece 24 pin here, and I'm going to route this right below here and slot it to this 24 pin here and clip it down. Next, we are going to get our CPU power here, which is this 4+4 pin, and I'm going to insert this right here. Just it in and down we go. Oh, and I have totally forgot our USB slot. Place this into the case. Find a way to slot it in and screw this down in place and place the bracket back in. So this USB 3.1 header will be going straight into this hole. So okay, next up we're going to route these cables. So what I'm going to do is to push them down into the bottom case part here, and then we're going to install right over here. So you have to look into your motherboard for the signatures here, but I have basically memorized them all. So the reset is here. So the reset is here. HDD is here. Power switch is here, and the power LED plus and minus on the last. Okay, we've got them in. So everything is okay now. So the only pin that's not installed with anything is this pin. Next up, we're going to put this hard disk in first. So connect your SATA cable here and route your SATA. Here we know there's a SATA port is here, and so I'm going to go for that path. Install it right here. There we go. And since we don't have the hard disk bracket here, I'm just going to slot this in for the time being and see how we do with it later on. Next up, we're going to have to connect a power to our hard disk using this from one of our PSU cables here. And so we're just going to find a way in and push against it, and then push this in like so, and then slide the cut this back inside. So now we're going to install the intake fan Molex cable here, and this is the exhaust fan Molex cable here. So we're just going to find one of the empty Molex cable on the PSU and then just push it in like so, and I guess I can find another one, and then push this inside, and then we're just going to push all of the cables back inside. I don't want to use the 3-pin because we aren't going to control the speed anyways, so let that be okay. And then this really looks like a mess right now, but I'm okay with that. And we have actually also installed the USB 2.0 header here and the front audio here. So we'll put back all of the panels here, the left, right, top and front panel. And now we're going to try to start our PC here. So let's get the moment of truth in 3, 2, 1, go. So we did see boot now, and waiting for the RAM to come online as well. There we go. GPU's fan is spinning with 1 bit, which means it should be fine. Next up, we're going to connect it to our monitor and see how it goes. But before that, let's enjoy the RGB lights in dark. So now we have put into its BIOS. As you can see, everything is working properly. We just need to install our Windows. Right now the CPU fan is actually running at 2800 RPM, and the temperature is only 44 Celsius here, the CPU, and it's actually quite loud, I must say. But that's all from me, guys. Thank you for watching. Remember to like and subscribe and share my videos. This video will be followed up by another part 3 to showcase you all the performance of this, and I'll do some gaming on this. So be sure to like and subscribe and share this video to your friends if you find this useful. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.